welcome to my channel. I am Tori Lynn. Let's blossom today. So today I'm going to be doing makeup with all makeup that I ordered from Grove Collaborative. I'm not sponsored by them, but I've been ordering from them for quite a while now, like almost a year. And basically they're a monthly subscription of cleaning products, but they have branched out to now having a makeup side or makeup section or whatever you want to call it. And that side of their website is called Roven. And so I went on and I was looking through makeup. Now I didn't want to spend a ton of money because again I'm non-sponsored by Grove or Roven. So I went with the cheaper brand, which was BURT'S. So they have BURT'S and I forget the other names, but they had like 2 or 3 other brands of almost an entire face of makeup. So I went and I ordered as much of a full face of makeup as I could. So I got the Grove box here. This is the box my makeup came in. I like Grove because it just like kind of urges me to clean, but when I saw that they were doing makeup, I thought, what a great video idea. I was going to purchase different brands, but some of the brands were actually pretty pricey, like Ulta and Sephora pricey, like $50, $60 for a foundation kind of pricey, and I was like, no, okay. So I went with BURT'S, which I know you can get at like drugstores and stuff now, but I have not tried any of their makeup. The only thing I've ever tried from BURT'S is their chapsticks. Some of these products, I don't know how well their color is going to match me because I ordered it online. And some of the things like the concealer only had 2 options. So I feel like the concealer may be dark, but we're going to work with it. So I got the BURT'S Goddess Glow Liquid Foundation. Got that in the shade 1005 Porcelain. I got concealer. Now this I know is probably going to be dark, like I said. This is the BURT'S concealer in the shade 715 or medium dark, and I would normally go with light or light medium if that. So it's gonna be a little dark. I got a all glow highlight stick in the shade 1905 Opal Mist, and it's just a cream, and they didn't have any powder highlight, so I had to go with cream. And then I got an all glow bronzer stick, and this is in the shade 1610 Bronze Splash, and I think this was the lighter of the bronzer shades. And then I just got a nourishing mascara in the shade Classic Black 1305, sorry. I think the foundation and the setting powder are going to be okay because they had more options in those. I got the mattifying powder foundation with bamboo, whatever that means, in the shade 1115 Sand. And then for blush, I got just the blush. It's called Shy Pink 1210. Looks like a really pretty pink. They also had multiple options in the blush, and I went with one that I feel like I didn't have, but I would still wear. And then for eyeshadow, this is just one of their, what do they call these? And they just call them eyeshadow with bamboo, but they're little trios. This one is in the shade 1520 Dusky Woods. So it's just a little tiny eyeshadow trio. It's got a nice matte brown, a shimmery brown in the middle, and then a matte cream shade on the top. And then lastly, I got a BURT'S lip shimmer in the shade Peony. So it's going to be a really light, natural pink shade. So I kind of thought, you know, when I feel like BURT'S, I think of a very natural, clean makeup line. I have not tried it yet, so I don't know if that is the case. But got all my makeup sitting out beside me. But they didn't have, out of products I use every day, a primer, a setting powder, or a setting spray. So I'm going to be using the closest things I have to drugstore products, or that are drugstore products, for the ones I don't have. So for primer, I'm going to be using the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Primer. I use this one because I'm going to be using this one because they count ColourPop as a drugstore product, even though really, can you actually find it in any drugstores? I don't know. I guess because their pricing is drugstore. The other one I could use, I suppose, would be the e.l.f. primer, but I've used that one a lot lately, so I figured, you know, let's switch her up here. The foundation again was called Goodness Glow. I actually think I called it Goddess Glow a few minutes ago. This looks like this is going to be a good shade for me, I think. Maybe even a hairline, I don't know, we'll see. I'm just going to take my e.l.f. Total Face Sponge here and pump some foundation onto it. I have no idea what kind of coverage this foundation has because it does not say. I don't think that this says. Oh, actually it says our full coverage mineral formula leaves skin smoother and more radiant with a natural finish that's not heavy or greasy. Okay, so has kind of an odd scent to it. Like, I don't really love the smell. It's not super strong, but it's not a very good smell. It kind of smells like Play-Doh almost. And wow, that shade I definitely think is very light. I don't know if it's gonna oxidize or settle down, but that looks a little light for me. Just blend her down the jaw. So they called the coverage full coverage. I'm gonna go with it has medium coverage. Let's see if it's buildable. I see a lot. It has a natural finish. Right now it's still very dewy looking, but it definitely looks like just kind of enhanced skin. But let's see if we can do some building up. And you could actually see right there that this color did oxidize down a little bit or dry down. Maybe it's not oxidizing. I remember when the Fenty Beauty foundation came out and everyone was like, oh my god, this foundation oxidizes so bad. And they're like, it's not actually oxidizing, it's just the fact that the foundation is drying. You know, sometimes when things are wet, especially with paint, when they're wet, they look a different color than when they actually dry down. Okay, so real talk about this foundation. It's not full coverage whatsoever. I mean, you can still see a lot of my redness, splotchiness. The foundation looks really splotchy. It coats my skin very weird. Sorry, I'm kind of getting down close into the mirror here. It coated my skin very strangely. It almost looks like a one of those liquid to powder foundations where the foundation like sits on the skin like a powder even though it goes on as a liquid, and I don't love that. Let me give you guys a close-up of what my foundation is looking like right now. Okay, so now that I've got you quite a bit closer, I don't know how well you can see, but you can see all of my pores. It's really cakey along my chin. It's just very weird coverage. Like, look at that. Not something I love. Not digging the foundation so far. So, yeah, I'm not loving that at all. But let's go ahead and try the concealer. Now, I'm worried about this concealer not being the right shade. Okay, so this is the concealer. I mean, right away I can tell this is going to be way too dark. Again, this was in the shade medium dark. And I believe I only got this option because I only had 2 options, and this was the lightest of the 2 options. So, it's definitely very pinky undertoned concealer. It's really kind of a dry product, if that makes sense. Like, it's not spreading very well under, you know, on the skin. Okay, I'm sorry, but like, first of all, that color is not right. I mean, it doesn't look terrible, but like, something's funky. I have like this weird, I mean, it didn't blend out. at all, and it gave me absolutely no coverage. This might be a really good concealer for when I'm doing no makeup and I just want to throw something under my under eye to like cover up the dark circles, but I don't want brightening. Like something to cover blemishes basically, because I feel like this is a pretty good match for my skin tone. But like, what coverage did I get from that? I feel like my bags and my under eye looks worse than it did before. I almost feel like I have no, I feel like it took off the foundation that was there and added just a slight rosier, more pinky tone to my under eye. Like, oh gosh, okay. I'm gonna put more on and see if we can make a difference. It didn't do anything to my nose or my chin. So let's just go ahead and just, I don't know guys, I feel like I'm trying to make this work and it's just probably not going to work, but I'm sorry, but this looked on camera, it just looks like my coloration's a little off, but in person, like in the mirror, I can see every pore. I can see where the foundation is settling into every crevice, every crease. It already looks like, you know what it looks like? When you've had your foundation on for 12 hours and it's really starting to separate and break up in your greasy areas and you can see like each spot of foundation. That's what this looks like over my whole face. And it's been on for 10 minutes if that. Like, okay buddy. So let's just go and bake. I'm going to be using my Coty translucent air spun powder because one, it's my favorite baking powder, and two, it will kind of suffice as our drugstore setting powder. So I'm really going to set these under eyes just to try to brighten that area up. Like, my nose is so bad, you guys. Try to take a picture that really shows you what my skin looks like right now, and if I can get a good one, I will insert it somewhere in here. If not, then sorry about that. So we're baking, it's not good, but let's just go ahead and do the brows. I'm gonna be using the e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil in the shade Taupe, and I'll be right back, you guys. Brows are done. My brows don't look terrible. I did still use that concealer to conceal them, and they're not that great, but we're here. It is what it is today. Normally I'll go and set my foundation here once I do my brows, but because we have cream highlight and bronzer today, I think we're gonna go and do those first. So I don't have high hopes for these products, partially because of how the rest of the products have turned out. Well, the two products I've used so far have not been great, but I also just don't do cream bronzer and stuff very well. I always feel like it looks funny when I do it, so I was really reluctant to buy these products, but I figured if you want to make a video out of this, then I have to buy all the products. So this is the All Glow bronzer in the shade Bronze Splash. Okay, so it's got another little cap under the cap, and this has like looks like a lip balm piece in the middle. So, and it's very shimmery. It's shimmery bronze. It's not a matte bronzer. So I'm gonna go and just kind of carve out my cheekbones. Hello, product. So right away, you don't get I mean, that looks like in the camera you get some, but in person, you really don't seem to get a whole lot of product. So, which probably is good for me, being that it's a cream bronzer, and those are not my strong suit. This smells like apples though, so it smells pretty good. I'm also like, do I dare to do my nose? Because this is not the right shade for me. So I'm like, if I do my nose, and this looks funky, you know, or it's shimmery. It's not even that it's not the right shade. It's just that it's shimmery. So if I go and I put shimmer down the side of my nose, is that gonna look weird? Probably. Am I gonna do it anyways for the sake of the video? Yes. Am I gonna regret this later? Probably. I do like that it smells like apple. It smells a lot better than the foundation did. And the concealer, I didn't smell or anything, so who knows. Okay, so I'm just gonna take my beauty sponge and just try to buff that out. So that's interesting. I mean, I really feel like that did nothing other than right here and right here under my cheekbones. I feel like it over blended out on my forehead and everywhere else, even though I didn't really do a whole lot of blending. Like, I really didn't. All I did was try to buff out those edges and it instantly went away. So I layered it on twice. Don't really feel like it made any difference putting a second layer on. Let's go ahead and do the highlight now. This is the same All Glow line. This is the highlight in the shade Opal Mist. So with this highlight, it smells the same. It's got the same little weird dot in the center. I'm gonna use my fingers and kind of warm that product up and see if I can get a good, oops, highlight. Although I feel like my skin already looks pretty dewy. Or maybe it's just the amount of product that's now on my skin makes it look like that. I mean, it has a pretty shimmer. Now I'm gonna take my beauty sponge, although it did an okay job of blending out, and just give it a little extra blend. So I mean, that's a very pretty highlight. I mean, this whole look is already kind of dewy. It's not like, bam, that's a highlight, but it's like, that's pretty. It does look natural, has a natural highlight to it. Let's go ahead and sweep away what baking we can. And we can set our face with an actual powder. This is the mattifying powder foundation with bamboo, which I don't really know what that means. And again, this is in the shade 115 Sand. I think the packaging of these little things, powder products, are really cute. They look like little honeycombs. And then of course they have the honeycomb embossed in them. And look at this. Watch. That's my product. Just fell right out of the, like it does, like, so the back of the pan looks like there was glue on it. Really yucky glue. But in here, there's like no glue whatsoever. Like no glue residue, no nothing in there. And then, of course, you flip that over and you've got the mirror and a sponge, a honeycomb shaped sponge, which of course we're not going to use that, but, so it does come its own little compact. But I don't love the fact that the product instantly fell out when I was trying to show you guys stuff. So very powdery, a lot of fallout, a lot of dust coming off of that. So I thought this color was going to be a good color for me, but looking at it, I think it's actually setting my foundation maybe a little dark. I don't know. It's always hard to tell because in camera I feel like my chest always looks a little different than I see my chest in the mirror. So in the camera I feel like it all looks, well, one, I feel like my skin doesn't look as bad. And two, it all looks like it blends, you know, it all pretty color-wise matches pretty well. But in the mirror, I feel like my face looks really, not really dark, but definitely darker than the rest of my skin. So, skin is set. The foundation, or that powder, is definitely mattifying. I mean, I feel like it got rid of a lot of that wet, tacky, dewy look in my face, and the only sections of my face that are still dewy looking is the highlighted areas. So, you know, that did pretty good. And I do feel like it had quite a bit of coverage. I mean, I know it's not just a setting powder, it is a powder foundation. So it had quite a bit of coverage. It did bring a lot of that weird patchiness together kind of made everything look a little better. My nose still looks really weird. You just have like this really patchy, funky, I don't know how to describe it. You can just literally see where the foundation is actually covering and where it's not covering. Like, it feel like it just like separated. I don't know. It's very interesting. So let's go ahead and do the blush. We've got, it doesn't have a name, it's just a blush in the shade Shy Pink, which I thought was really pretty, so I'm going to go ahead and open this up. I was debating between another blush shade, but the other blush shade I felt like was one that I had a lot, and this one is, I feel like maybe a little brighter, a little pinkier than a blush. The blushes that I typically use, I feel like the ones that I typically use are a little more nude. So, okay, so this is what you guys see. Looks just like the powder foundation, right? It's got the same honeycomb grid on it. Open her up, and she's got a weird little paper piece, and they're not even the same color pink. I do think that this is more the color than I chose online. And I mean, they're similar, but like this one's a lot more muted, I feel like. Now looking at it, I can tell it's a print off, but looking through the thing, I couldn't. I'm just like, that's a little weird. It has a little saying or little information on it. So it says, to protect the natural pigment in our 100% natural blush, we've made this paper made with 100% post recycled content. This will ensure you get the beautiful result you expect naturally. So they're doing this thing, they're putting this in there to protect your product. But let's just go ahead and blush these cheeks up. Wow, really dusty. Very, very dusty. I don't know how well you can see that right there. I tapped into it like 3 times, and that was the dustiness that I got. And this blush is very pretty, very pigmented. I feel like I like that a lot. As far as the color goes, I think it'll look really good on a cute summer. I got a little carried away with that, but on a cute summer day or even spring day with light makeup or no makeup, this would add just a cute little rosy touch to your skin. I feel like that highlight though is really disappearing under the blush and this powder foundation, so that's definitely something to kind of keep in mind when using it. I'm putting a little on the forehead because I feel like I lost all bronzer there. Honestly, I feel like I look a little crazy. I got a little carried away with that blush, I think, but you know, what can you do? So now we're gonna be doing the eyes because we're done with pretty much this, all the skin stuff. This again was their eyeshadow compact called Dusty Woods. Again, just has 3 little shades in it. I have no idea if these are going to be very pigmented or this is going to go. Here's the 3 little shades. Got a matte bronzer, or matte brown, the shimmery bronzy color, and then the cream. I'm going to start by taking the vanilla creamy shade up top. And oh, that was really dusty. Watch this. So I'm just, can you guys see how much came off that? That was from like 2 swooshes like that. So these are also very dusty. My desk is now covered in this eyeshadow. But I'm just going to go ahead and set my whole lid. Next, I'm going to go in with the matte brown shade. It's kind of a dark chocolatey brown, if you will. And I'm going to work that in the crease. Mostly focusing on the outer corner because this is kind of a dark color. I don't want to get too carried away with it. So I'm going to like really work it into the outer corner and then just kind of softly smoke it into the inner corner. I'm even going to kind of layer some of that dark in there just to build up some good depth. That brown shade also had a lot of fallout. Now I'm just going to take a nice fluffy blending brush and just blend that shade. Next, I'm going to take the bronzer shade in the center and lay that over the lid. work that shade from the lash line all the way up into the crease. Just to give them a really nice, good blend is all that's gonna do. This isn't a super pigmented shimmer. None of these shades are super pigmented, so they blend out pretty easily. Now, just for a good precaution, I'm gonna take that same blending brush and just give a nice swoosh along that crease, just to blend any harsh lines that may be just chilling there. Now I want to go back into that dark brown shade and smoke out the lower lash line hair. Sticking with that dark brown shade one more time, I'm going to take a really small flat brush here, and we're going to dip into that brown shade. And we're going to press that along the upper lash line. This is going to kind of give us a faux liner look, and I feel like it's just going to really tie in that lower smoke. So I didn't get an inner corner highlight with this either, so I'm going to just use my favorite inner corner highlight. This is a Unique Cosmetics single shadow shade, or single shadow in the shade Gentle. Now for the mascara, this is called their Nourishing Mascara, long lasting with jojoba oil and 100% natural. So it looks like it has just a really standard brush. Again, this is in the shade Classic Black. Actually, this brush has the plastic little nubs instead of actual like soft, you know, like nylon bristles. This one has the plastic ones. That mascara is not the greatest. Like most of these products, it would probably work for like a no makeup day, one where you just want to throw in a little mascara and a little something to just do some cover up to look natural, but to enhance. But it's not, I mean, it's not a great mascara. It honestly compares pretty well to that e.l.f. one that I got that wasn't very good either. Let's throw on some lashes just because I feel like this This look needs a little something to just kind of pull it all together. So I'm going to be using the e.l.f. lashes because they were, and I don't remember the style name now, but they were very natural looking lash. They're just really soft, pretty, wispy, not real dense. So give me just a minute to throw those on. On the last leg of the race here, we've got some lash glue. It's still drying, but that's okay. So let's go ahead and move into the lip product. This is a lip shimmer in the shade Peony, so I don't expect any full coverage. I feel like it's going to be like a tinted lip gloss, or a tinted chapstick, I mean. It's just a very pretty color. I think it's going to look really good. Like a natural lip color. So it actually is like a enhanced color of my natural lip. Very pretty. Doesn't have a lot of pigment to it. It is a slight shimmer, and it has a mentally kind of minty feeling to it. My lips feel a little tingly, but not in a painful way, and like a hydration kind of way. And the camera, it looks really pretty and like it covered pretty well. In person, I still feel like I can see quite a bit of my natural lip pigment and texture under it, but it'd be really nice to just throw in your purse and have with you if you need a little lip balm and you want a little coverage from your lip balm. Then this would work really well. If you're looking for a full coverage true lipstick, this is not it at all. Obviously, none of these products are full coverage glam products. They're all very soft, natural looking. I don't hate the way this look turned out. It's not my typical look. I mean, I feel like I look very odd without real bronzer because that cream bronzer didn't really do anything for me at all. So before I go out today, I will probably throw a little bit of actual bronzer on and maybe a little more highlight, although I still have a fairly good shimmer. The eyes turned out really pretty. I like the eye look. I think that this would be also really great for traveling. You know, it's just got 3 simple shades that make it an easy, great look, and it just is such a nice compact size. It did not come with any brush of any kind that I was able to see. I kind of thought maybe it would be like the foundation and have that, you know, brush in the back, but it didn't, which is fine because nobody really likes the brushes that come with eyeshadow palettes anyways. I feel like a lot of them anymore don't. As far as my favorite products go, probably the eyeshadow palette and the blush. I feel like both of those did what they were supposed to. They looked really good, very pretty, and I'm happy with both my color choices on those. Things that I liked, that I didn't hate, probably the powdered foundation. I think it kind of saved this look. It pulled the skin together a lot more than it was going before. And I like the lip balm. I don't typically use a chapstick with color, but like I said, it would be nice to kind of just have in your bag for emergencies or whatever. Products I hated, products that do not buy, were not worth it. The foundation, 100%, do not like the foundation. It just was so patchy and gross looking on my skin. It literally looked like I had been wearing it for 12 plus hours when I had been wearing it for less than 10 minutes. And the bronzer, because it did diddly squat. It did absolutely nothing. I don't recommend either of these two. The concealer, I kind of feel the same way. If you're buying it to do a brightening under eye concealer, a highlight like I typically would do with a concealer, don't buy it for that. I do think it would be a good blemish, like a spot coverage. I don't know how much coverage this actually had, but I feel like it blended into my skin pretty well to where it could cover up some dark spots or whatever. So if you're looking for that, this might be a good concealer for you. And then the highlight wasn't bad. I mean, it definitely gave me some good highlight. I just am not a huge fan of cream and liquid highlights. I prefer my highlight in a powder form. But if you like cream highlights, this one wasn't bad. I'm not really sure what the purpose of the cream stuff in the center of these two products were, but whatever it was didn't seem to make a difference for me. And the mascara was just a typical cheap drugstore bottom of the line mascara. Each of these products I think were about $12.99. Some of them were a few dollars more, some of it was a few dollars less. But would I recommend this makeup line? Probably not. Will I purchase it again? Definitely not. There are a few things that I'd say, okay, yeah, this could work if you're using it for a specific thing. But overall, don't love this makeup line at all. Anyways, I hope you guys like this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. You can come back and watch more of me testing out different makeup looks. I also do vlogs and fun holiday treat challenges on my channel. So come back and watch those. I will see you guys on my next one. Bye.